Hello and welcome to the sideboard here at the StarCityGames.com Invitational in Atlanta, Georgia. My name is Ruben Bressler and I am joined by your Invitational champion, two-time now Invitational champion.
The only one.
The only one, setting more records along the way. Of course, you're already the only person to win back-to-back in the same weekend. You're probably the all-time leader in open wins, up there in top eights.
Yeah.
It's getting ridiculous. You got to cut it out.
I haven't won a draft open.
Oh, well, there you go. So we have something.
There are things left to do, but if I keep having to play in top 8 in the invitationals, I don't get to play in the draft open. So
oh, fair enough.
Yeah,
so
it's rough.
Mr. Gerry Thompson is your champion here in Atlanta, and you went through the top 8 that had 3 Stoneblade decks of various types. You had to defeat 2 of them on your way to the championship. You defeated more traditional Esper Stoneblade in the finals, and then in a really exciting 5-game set against Brian Braun-Dwin.
That match was insane.
You had to defeat Deathblade. What is your opinion on 3 of them made the top 8? It's clearly a very powerful strategy.
Yeah.
And a lot of really high-level players tend to prefer to play decks like Esper Stoneblade, but
sure.
You're going in a completely different direction.
Yeah, I mean, I like the deck that I played basically because I have Ancestral Vision, and I think that gives me a leg up in these blue control mirrors because the games go long, they get really grindy, and people don't really have like a hard card draw. There's no like Factor Fiction or like Accumulate Knowledge for 3 or anything like that like there used to be. Like the only deal breaker is like Jace, and that's it. And Ancestral, like especially if you have Shardless Agent, you get to set that up with Brainstorm or whatever. Like you just get this huge advantage. Like him away the removal spells, play some Goyfs. Like I really like my matchup against those blue decks, and in a tournament like the Invitational, I expect a lot of the good players to play decks like that because you know it suits their play style, gives them a lot of options. They're not really drawing dead in any matchup. So
now, perhaps luckily for you, the 2 wild cards, let's say, were the 2 combo decks that played each other in the quarterfinals, and they sort of knocked themselves out.
Yeah, I lost to Ross in the Swiss, and it was not very close.
Right.
I cut my Engineered Plagues, wasn't expecting like a lot of goblins or elves or anything, so I'm glad that he lost.
Yeah. And the other one was Ad Nauseam Tendrils. How's your Ad Nauseam
That one's
matchup?
okay. Like I was worried about my top 8 match the most because he had Leyline of Sanctity, and Hymn to Turok is my best card against combo matchups. And the fact that he can just bring those in and nullify like potentially 8 of my cards, like maybe more with Liliana if I'm trying to edict his Emrakul or whatever. So that one was scary. He did open on Leyline every game. And I still managed to win. I don't know how.
In the last game, he sort of flooded on ley lines a little bit.
I think that was game 3.
Or game 3,
yeah.
He
but
flooded on
but
ley
against
lines.
Ad Nauseam, like if I get to Thoughtseize them and him them, like play a Tarmogoyf, I should be okay.
Right.
So I'm more fine with that matchup, even though they can actually like kill me sooner.
Yeah, my impression is that against the play 1 spell and try to win with that 1 spell, like Sneak and Show kind of decks, you're better against because you can sort of pickpocket them with discard spells.
Yeah, plus I have like Sower of Temptation I can put in off show and tell. So
I was really hoping for that to happen. The one game I was standing behind you.
It's tough because he could just like put in a sneak attack or something, and I'm like, well, I'm stupid. But
exactly. So you've now won 2 invitationals. Yeah. You're having a pretty good year so far.
Not too bad. Not too bad.
You've top 8'd your first Pro Tour. This is your 2nd invitational win. And both of those tournaments, you played Blue, White, Red Flash in Standard.
Yep.
A deck that sort of isn't everyone's favorite.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's never been the most popular deck of the format.
It's more mid-rangey, so people kind of stay away from it. Like if they want to play Control, they'll usually play something like Esper. If they want to play like a really, really hard mid-range deck, then they'll play the Junk Rights deck. I don't know, like I like it. It suits my play style, and I went back to Boros Reckoners. Those were very good, and I don't know. I was kind of skeptical. Like I didn't know how good the deck was going to be, but I went 6-2. All my matches were really close. Reckoners were very good, so I'm glad I went back to those.
Yeah, and also as a very, very good player, a lot of good players prefer to play these decks that have very thin margins.
Yeah.
And so playing really close games rewards your psyche, I guess.
Yeah,
as opposed to playing something along lines where I might play something like Maverick, where you just have complete blowout matches. Maybe 6 months ago I would play Maverick, but
sure.
You have complete blowout matches and then have no chance to win these other ones.
Yeah.
But it's more rewarding to play things like you see a lot more Rug Delvered invitationals, for example, things like that.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, I like the interaction. I like playing the game. I like forcing myself to think and everything. If I'm just playing like green-red aggro, I'm just like, all right, creature, your turn, and then I just have to like sit there while they're on their turn. It's just like kind of boring for me.
Sure.
So yeah, I want to play with Brainstorm and
exactly. Who doesn't in Legacy?
Yeah.
When you get a chance to play Ancestral, you take it.
Yeah, for sure.
So let's talk about the finals real quick. If you were going to take if you were going to have a fantasy draft of the at a Star City Games Invitational, I think the first 2 picks would be you and Shaheen.
So far, like we both, does he have more than 4 top 8s? I know
this is his 4th in a row.
I know it's his 4th in a row.
I don't think he has more than 4, but he has like 5 draft open top 8s or something also
sure,
ridiculous like that. Other ridiculous numbers
so,
that you haven't quite made yet.
Yeah.
There are a couple records out there yet to be broken.
I know. Yeah, so we both have 4 top 8s. There have been 8 invitationals so far, and yeah, I mean, we definitely have both like shown our mastery in like the standard plus legacy format. I think we're both really good at tuning our decks to beat like the metagames that we expect in these types of tournaments.
Right, and it's not like you're making metagame calls. You're playing decks that you guys know.
Yeah. I mean, it's more so like the tweaking and tuning aspect of it.
And especially at invitationals, which tend to be near the end of formats.
Yeah.
As Dragon's Maze is coming out relatively soon, you tend to be much better at the end of formats.
For sure. Once I know my enemy, it's a lot easier to beat them.
Right. And you have won this one, and this one came with a little bit of an extra prize, which is a token.
Yeah.
Made in your image.
I
Which
like it.
I don't know if that's been. Oh, wait a second.
That has been done.
So that has been done, but I want to clarify. You will be getting a second token.
I better be.
And this one, I think you have some input as to what creature type it's going to be.
Dude, I think Merit Lage would be sweet. I don't know.
We'd have to check the copyright on that, but we could probably make a nameless 2020 flying trampler or indestructible or whatever.
Yeah. All right.
So worst comes to worst, you'll only be a 2020. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah.
So we'll look forward to that, Gerry. Congratulations once again.
Thank you.
We're going to toss it back to the booth with Tom and Osip here at the StarCityGames.com Invitational.